Greetings! Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. This is update number 150. Oh my gosh. I've done 150 of these things since 2020, since the pandemic started. I'm seeing more people wearing masks again, so I guess that I'm hearing more people have it again. The big C word. Um, well, hopefully some vaccines are coming. And if you're living where we're living in southeastern Pennsylvania, it is hot for September. It's very hot. We're not used to this kind of heat, and we have a homicidal escapee on the lam, which also isn't so great. I noticed that some people were saying how businesses were down, and I feel like it's been kind of a slow week for us. And part of that was the heat, part of it was Labor Day vacations, and part of it is people don't want to go out if they're feeling sort of, I don't know, like they're going to be attacked or abducted or something. And while we're not right in the hot zone of activity, we're certainly not far from it. And so, fingers crossed that that situation gets rectified. It certainly has added an element of excitement to the early part of September this year. So, in this area. So I have a bunch of new releases today. As you know, I'm sort of running late here. I was out at a show last night, and I'm tired. My voice is a little creaky, so I'm gonna get through this as quickly as possible. And you know me, no edits. um, I am edit free. I will try to present these quickly, and if I say something that I regret, well, I'll just have to deal with that later. And one last thing, I will have a recommend at the end of this, and so buckle up. I know this is a odd thing coming on. I'm People last night were probably like, "Oh my gosh, he hasn't made a video. What's wrong with the world?" So yeah, all right. So I couldn't let it go too long. All right, first big release this week. We're doing September 8th, 2023. Big release week. I've been talking about this as being one of the first big ones for a while for the fall. The Doors live at the Matrix. You can hear my voice giving out already. Too much screaming. This is 5 LPs and a 7-inch. My voice is cracking. I saw Duran Duran. Simon Le Bon is famous for cracking a note at Live Aid. You're going to hear my voice cracking a lot today. 5 LPs and a 7-inch single. This is live. It's a numbered limited edition. This is number 2010. A pretty nice round number there. Limited edition of 14,000, it says. So yeah, this is all live material. The complete and original recordings taken straight from the first generation 7-inch reels. 5-night engagement in March 1967 at a small San Francisco nightclub called the Matrix. Includes 2 never-before-heard recordings, All Blues and Bags Groove. And this sort of finishes with Bags Groove, but it also has Break On Through to the Other Side, Gloria, Summertime, Backdoor Man, Alabama Song. Those are the last few songs on the set. I see Crystal Ship. Let's see what else. Light My Fire. The End. There's a lot of The End. Well, The End is quite a long song. Soul Kitchen. People Are Strange. I mean, this is pretty cool, people. Yeah, so 5 records, 5 LPs, and a 7-inch. It's in the $125, $130 range. So there you go. Next big reissue of, I mean, I say reissue because there's reissues and releases. Fleetwood Mac, the Rumors Tour Live. This is a 2 LP previously unreleased live show from the 1977 Rumors Tour. I think this might be the first full Rumors live album official that's not a bootleg. This includes Dreams, Go Your Own Way, Say You Love Me, The Chain, and more. There's a nice little essay on the back. It's 2 LP, like I said. Ends with Songbird, I See Gold Dust Woman, Landslide, You Make Loving Fun, Oh Well, Rhiannon. It's like a greatest hits of the era live. Very cool. That's going to be a big seller for a while, I think. Big new release of the week. I mean, there are new albums. Olivia Rodrigo, this is her sophomore record. This is a limited edition indie retail exclusive on Lavender vinyl, includes the single Vampire. Actually a really catchy kind of new wave pop type song. The back is kind of funny. The first song is called All American Bitch. I mean, this girl she's young, right? Sort of. And the last song is called Teenage Dream. Maybe that's a callback to Katy Perry. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. I think she's pretty talented for a young starlet singer there. And the next sort of big new release of the week, Tyler Childers. And last year he released kind of a longer album that was sort of two different versions of the same album, and it didn't do that well sales wise for us, maybe because it was kind of expensive being a big thing, but this is an actual sort of digestible single record, and this is on RCA. It's called Rustin' in the Rain. He does Help Me Make It Through the Night also. This is the single is called In Your Love, and it's an indie exclusive green color vinyl. He's one of Sturgill Simpson's buddies, sort of, and in that scene anyway. So if you like Americana, check out Tyler. He's got a few really good albums. I think Purgatory is one of them. So The Cure have released Show on vinyl. This is a live show from the mid 80s. This came out for Record Store Day, but it is now on a 2 LP black vinyl. So there's that. Oh, well, very exciting, I think. We get 2 Prince reissues this week. The Batman soundtrack. Finally, Prince Batman featuring the huge #1 hit single Bat Dance, and also features Party Man and Arms of Orion with Sheena Easton. This was massive when it came out. Ironically, I don't think, other than Bat Dance, though, there weren't any major hits from it. Scandalous was another single. It's actually a really good album, but it's more of a kind of a pop record. And he had put that out just after he put this out, I believe, which was another soundtrack to a Prince movie, Graffiti Bridge. And this is back on vinyl as well. And I've been waiting for these for a while. We all have. This includes Thieves in the Temple was the big hit from this. And Round and Round, the song he wrote for with Tevin Campbell, who was a child singer at the time. He sort of got his debut with this. Also features The Time, Mavis Staples, and George Clinton. And so this was kind of, because it was a soundtrack, it's sort of like how Prince did Purple Rain, but instead of putting the other artists on their own albums, he sort of integrated them into this album. So I don't know, there's a few songs on here I really love. Well, New Power Generation was kind of the birth of the NPG, really, in a name. Starts with a great little rocker, Can't Stop This Feeling, that I got. I love The Question of You, that's a great ballad. Elephants and Flowers is kind of psychedelic. Joy and Repetition seems to be a very popular song with the fans. That's a great song. And Still Would Stand All Time. Really great stuff. I think it gets sort of poo-pooed. See, my voice is going out. Simon! In the whole sort of realm of Prince stuff, but I like that album a lot. Okay. I still haven't seen the movie, though. That's very ironic because I think because I've heard so much negativity about it that I'm kind of like, I'll just listen to the music. I should probably watch it at this point. Tori Amos, Scarlet's Walk. This was her first album for Sony. It was the beginning of her second phase, really, and her breakaway from Atlantic Records. This is half speed mastered, I believe. Yep, cut from it's newly half speed mastered. I'm not sure I've ever seen this on vinyl before. I don't know if it has been or not. I've never seen it. But this featured a sort of fairy tale was the single, Taxi Ride, and Don't Make Me Come to Vegas, or a couple other songs. I think one of the centerpieces of this was I Can't See New York, which was sort of a song written after 9/11. And Gold Dust is a great sort of ending track. It's a sort of a trip across America in song. I believe it had like 18 or 20 songs. Her album started getting very, very long at that point. So, all right, more reissues. Let's see. Morphine, Like Swimming. And there's another one coming out. I haven't received it yet. I think it's coming today, called Night, or The Night. And it sort of had a cactus looking thing on the cover. I think that's sort of what it was. But anyway, these were albums that Mark Sandman and his trio were doing in the early mid 90s. Oh yeah, The Night. You can see it right there. That's the other one. And unfortunately, he had a heart attack on stage in Europe and died. He was very young. And Morphine's albums were highly sought after and kind of hard to get. I don't know if I've ever seen this one or that other one on vinyl before. The earlier ones you've been able to get. Good was one of them, I believe. Anyway, so Morphine back on vinyl. What year is it again? I think it's awesome. All right. Mo. Got Mo, tin cans, and car tires. This was a really big seller back in the late 90s. 25th anniversary edition on sky blue vinyl. That's the magic new color. Stranger Than Fiction, Nebraska, and Letter Home on vinyl for the first time. Okay, Mo fans. I think these are going to go fast. I better get more of these, actually. I got a couple, but yeah, if you're into like Fish, sort of jam bandy that way. All right, there's a couple of contenders for album cover of the week, and I love this album cover. This is Super Furry Animals, a reissue of their album Phantom Power. This is one of their, I think, 2 or 3 best albums. I liked the album Rings Around the World that came out right before this as well. They've already done a reissue of that. This is a double vinyl reissue. But the reason that I love this so much is because, I mean, you've got this sort of wood cutout looking thing of the horses, but it actually is a cutout when you look at it. How cool is that? Yeah, they did a really nice job on it. Anyway, and there's a double CD of this I'll show, but that actually has more songs on it. So they're probably trying to get you to buy both versions, I assume. All right, another great reissue, Folk Implosion, music from Kids. So the music that they gave to the Harmony Korine soundtrack, the movie Kids. So this is a deluxe remastered double album reissue comprised of their material composed for the soundtrack along with B-sides, remixes, and rarities. So if you're into Folk Implosion, this might be something to pick up. If you like Dinosaur Jr., I mean, they sound a lot different, I think, than that, but considering that you've got Lou Barlow's involvement, right? Okay. Now, let's see. Some new records. We've done a lot of reissuing and a couple new ones. Romy. You're like, who is Romy? Romy's the lead singer of the XX. And if you don't know the XX, go check them out because they're amazing. They have 3 albums. The first 2 are kind of similar. They're sort of like indie breakthrough hits. And then the third one, which was my favorite, was embracing a little more dance culture. And this goes a little more dance culture, actually. You can kind of see from the cover. But she's sort of embracing her sort of like sort of I guess personality, personal self, and it's called Mid-Air. It's a limited edition neon pink vinyl. And cool thing about this, I mean, it's sort of funny because it kind of almost looks like a party record, which it kind of is more than an XX album. But I think she just wanted to have fun. It seems like, you know, that the band is tends to be a little more sort of like measured and conservative in their tone. It's a little like more restrained. But this features not only contribution from Fred again, who just did an album with Brian Eno. He's like an electronic producer, but also Beverly Glenn Copeland, who has had sort of a resurgence phenomenon in her early 80s, well, late, I'm sorry, she's late 70s maybe, but sort of a very important cultural music figure that is worth checking out her music. She's very interesting, soulful, and spiritual. So anyway, Romy. Now I got to say something about this because this is one of my favorite things I've been looking forward to. I love this woman. I've collected all of her music, whether she was in Moloko, her band, or solo. And I know she's said some controversial things this week about trans people, and I'm really sorry about that. I still love her music. So I'm just here to talk about the music. And the music for Roisin Murphy, and this is her new album, Hit Parade. And I love this cover art. It's so eye-catching and crazy. The indie versions, she autographed them in this silver pen. And it features the songs Kukul, The Universe, Fader, and Free Will. They're all sort of different kind of vibes. I mean, they're kind of beachy, summery in some cases. And then she goes either more dance club or more sort of experimental. And she's pretty much fearless when it comes to like doing things with your vocals. She allows this DJ Cozy, who produced this, to kind of manipulate her vocals and stuff like that. But she's sort of one of a kind, and yeah, every time she releases a record, I really look forward to it. And even the last one, which with Roisin Machine, was kind of a big sort of underground hit in 2020. I think it might have been nominated for the Mercury Prize. I'm not sure, but that was more of a housey dance record. This one is kind of got more vibes, apparently, at least from the songs I've heard so far. If you're into dance music, another artist to check out, Chemical Brothers. They've been around for 25 years now, almost. This is their new record, For That Beautiful Feeling. Features a duet with Beck. I can't remember which song because it's not notated on the back. The one thing I will say about this, other than the song I heard was good, the Beck song, is that it's gotten very pricey. And this record is made in Germany, and it's a double, and it's almost $50. And like some of these other records were more in the $25 to $35, $40 range. I would say like the Tyler Childers was rather inexpensive. But why are they getting so pricey? Well, we've gotten word that a lot of the records that are being made in Europe are now they're trying to get the vinyl pellets to make the records, and most of those are coming from Ukraine. So here's yet another reason why it's important to kind of keep Ukraine sort of free and not under some tyrannical rule, because we can't get our records for decent prices without paying through the nose when certain people are trying to obliterate them and co-opt them. So that's not my sort of personal feeling, but it does affect the cost of the records. So that's another issue that I think maybe a lot of people weren't aware of. Thanks to my friend David, who's been talking about that over in England. Low Cut Connie, here's his new release, Art Dealers. And this is actually not cheap either, considering it's a US pressing. But it's his new record. The second song is called Sleaze Me On. Um, and I don't know, his stuff's pretty great. He had a lot of great stuff during lockdown sessions that were sort of humorous and entertaining. He did a whole covers album of the stuff he'd collected during them. The Postal Service, this is their new live record, Everything Will Change. This does feature the return of Jenny Lewis and Ben Gibbard together. So if you like Death Cab or you like Jenny Lewis, this is kind of cool with them together like this. This is also the Loser vinyl edition, pressed on LP for the first time on some color vinyl. They don't tell you what color. So, but Loser vinyl, that's what Sub Pop does. And I've noticed that we've started getting more Loser vinyl editions since I kind of bitched about it a lot, because I would say, well, Sub Pop is a label that sort of made its mark off of indie records shops and indie stuff. And then they would only sell that stuff through their website. And it's like, at least give the consumer the option of if they'd like to get it in a store or not, and support their store instead of just keeping it for yourself. So I don't know if they do that all the time, but I am seeing that free up a little bit. So that's good for everyone. Let's see. Well, this is really interesting. If in sort of reissue status, Sparkle Horse, yes, Sparkle Horse, Mark Linkous and his album Bird Machine. This is an unreleased Sparkle Horse album. I don't know the story behind how it was discovered or decided to be released, but this is on a limited edition color vinyl, and there's absolutely nothing on the cover to tell you what exactly is in it. I think maybe they thought just kind of keeping it minimal was probably the best thing, in keeping with Mark's memory. I had two young guys named Mark that passed away that have albums coming out this week, between him and Morphine. 90s classic, Marvelous 3, and it's one that you don't see all that often. Hey Album, it was really big back in the day on CD, features Freak of the Week. This is a pink vinyl pressing, so you're going to start seeing a few more 90s records come out if you haven't seen them in a while. Here's another one that you probably haven't seen in a long time, Rooney, and their big debut album. This is a 90s classic LP debut. Wow, first time on vinyl? I guess they were on sort of Universal or some big label, but 1993 Power Pop Classic, metallic gold pressing, includes printed inner sleeve. That was a pretty big pop record. Marvelous 3 is, yeah, I said pink vinyl, so pink and metallic gold. All right, let's see, other reissues we got. Linkin Park, Meteora. This is just, I believe it's black vinyl, but it hadn't been available as its own single record in a while, so it's affordable. Yeah, under $30. Boris. Bet you didn't think you'd see a Boris album in this video today. This is the first time ever on vinyl. This is the one called Heavy Rocks. It was originally released in 2002 as a CD exclusively in Japan, remastered and expanded with bonus tracks. Buy if you dig Melvins, Caius, Fu Manchu, or Boris. You can kind of see the name of the record if you turn it. I don't know if the light will catch it right there, but it's sort of right there. All right. That'll be funny if that's the screen grab. I'm like, you're staring up my nose. Buddy Guy, Feels Like Rain, another great blues reissue, 30th anniversary, limited edition of 1500 on purple vinyl. Grammy Award winning Best Contemporary Blues Album. Features John Mayall, Bonnie Raitt, Paul Rogers, and Travis Tritt. Interesting group of people there. Buddy's still out there doing it. Talk about an inspiration, that guy. Amazing. Okay. Courtney Barnett. Yes, the Courtney Barnett. End of the day. This is actually the music from the film Anonymous Club. I'm not aware of that film, so but I like Courtney, so you have to check that out. I don't know if it's acoustic or what it is. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this name. I believe it's Jalen Naganda. Is that right? Come Around and Love Me. Jalen is on Daptone Records. All right, so since they lost Sharon Jones and Charles Bradley, I'm sure they were like sort of looking for new signings. And this is an indie exclusive color vinyl. Jalen's voice is equal parts raw feeling and elegance, evoking the sophisticated soulness of Motown. Sure to be one of the top soul albums of the decade. High praise, includes MP3 bonus download card. I believe that there are a couple members of Charles Bradley's band in his band. So if you like Charles Bradley, check out Jalen Naganda. Let's see, and another sort of soul reissue. Hello, before that falls away from me. A slippery little bugger. Staple Singers. And this is Songs for Uncloudy Days, the early years. 1953 to 1962. So we're talking really old pops here, and Mavis as a young girl. Yeah. This is a lot of writing on the back. When Mahalia Jackson asked a young Mavis Staples if she could hear her sing, Mavis replied, "Oh, you can hear me. I sing loud." And it goes on about this. This has It Rained Children, Uncloudy Day, Help Me Jesus, Going Away, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. So some good old soul gospel. And since this one was kind of sitting here, A Mighty Wind soundtrack. I don't know. I think this might have been out for Record Store Day at some point, maybe years ago. Yeah, because it says on the first ever LP vinyl reissue. Forest Green vinyl edition. This was a popular movie and soundtrack music movie back in the day. Features Eugene Levy there and the Schitt's Creek cast. Basically, Jane. Her last name escapes me, from Glee and all those game shows. Right. It's kind of a great thing. So anyway. Oh, this brings back memories. Mighty Wind is great. From the people who brought you Best in Show. If you like dogs. There's 2 choral albums out this week, and I've only received one of them so far. Holy Joe's Coral Island Medicine Show. This is supposedly the more arty one of the 2, which features some of the narration from one of their dads, and I think their last album had some narration as well. I don't know what the sort of story is about this, but I do like the choral. I think they're an interesting UK band. They've been around for 20 years almost, I guess. At least it feels longer, but okay, Leon Russell, A Song for Leon. This is a tribute to Leon Russell. This is on Mango Orange vinyl and features I love this track list actually, or the people on it. Some of them here. Maybe it's odd, I don't know. Stranger in a Strange Land by Margot Price, Out in the Woods by Duran Jones, Tightrope by Nathaniel Rateliff, This Masquerade by Orville Peck, Superstar by U.S. Girls with Bootsy Collins, Crystal Closet Queen by the Pixies, A Song for You by Monica Martin, Back to the Island by Brett McKenzie and the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, Laying Right Here in Heaven by Tina Rose, Amy Nelson, and Jason Hill, and Prince of Peace by Hiss Golden Messenger. So it's a pretty good collection of people there. Some of those compilations are really good. There was one recently for Billy Joe Shaver that was pretty good, and there have been a couple John Prine ones that are really good as well. So, Motorhead. This is Lemmy and Larry Wallace and the Boys of Ladbroke Grove. This is a Cleopatra reissue. It's on some sort of blue vinyl here. And it's basically like things like Pink Fairies, Headcat, sort of some of the Motorhead um, outside projects and stuff like that, remixes and things. Shifting gears, Buddy Rich, the other Buddy Rich Trios. This is color vinyl, 2 LPs. Buddy Rich, very famous jazz drummer. This is a sort of a compilation, I believe. Just Friends from 1976. There Will Never Be Another You, Groovin' High, Secret Love, Stella by Starlight, My Romance. Yeah, it's more of a sort of traditional jazz stuff, but done in the mid 70s. So, double LP. All right. See, I told you there were a lot. I'm working my way down here, but I still have a bunch of CDs. Al Di Meola, All Your Life. I think this is a reissue. This might have been out before, but it's his tribute to the Beatles. So if you like jazz guitar, this was recorded at Abbey Road in London. This, I don't know exactly what the release date was or if this is the week. It's kind of shifted around a lot. This is Johnny Hammond Gears, and this is part of the Jazz Dispensary Top Shelf series, and features oft-sampled classics like Los Conquistadores Chocolates and Can't We Smile. So much for my Hispanic dialect. All analog mastering from the original analog tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, pressed at RTI. They're doing a good job with these Jazz Dispensary ones. And if you like soul jazz or funk jazz, Jazz Dispensary, look for that sticker. That is the way to go. Yes, more. Sorry, guys. Yusuf Days, another jazz artist that is new, and I'm not really familiar with their work. This is a white vinyl double, features Chronix, Jamila Berry, Tom Misch, and more. It's sort of like I believe sort of a hip hop type jazz kind of thing, or more of a soul jazz. Yeah, I read something about this. It sounds like a very cool. I think the cover art sort of depicted what the description of the sound of the music is. Let's see. Dizzy Gillespie Quintet, live in Las Vegas, 1963. This is sort of a very limited indie pressing. Jazz Rewind Records. This remarkable recording, this is hard to read, sees its first ever vinyl press. Wow, an unissued performance by Dizzy Gillespie, joined by Lee Wright in 1959. He's a saxophonist, and pianist Lalo Schifrin, who was hired the following year. So, Lalo Schifrin, the great jazz soundtrack composer, is on this as well. So, that's kind of cool. Double vinyl. And that's not Break the Bank. It's all right. Let's see. A couple soul reissues here. I think there were supposed to be 3. Betty Davis. This is her self-titled record. And then we also have They Say I'm Different. There's supposed to be one more. I think some of them were color vinyl. These are just black. They're actually a little more affordable on black vinyl. So that's sort of what I picked there. But yeah, these are sort of like she had a history as Miles Davis bride for a while, and super funky, gritty, soulful. What a character, and some amazing records, and sort of a recluse. She kind of became like Sly Stone that way in a way. But all right, a couple more hip hop reissues. Inspect a Deck. Wu-Tang related. This is indie exclusive Black Ice vinyl. So if you liked Inspected Deck's work back in the 90s, that's something to take a look at. the Killa Bees record Wu-Tang had involvement with, called The Sting. This is on yellow vinyl, which ought to look really sharp yellow with this black cover art. Charlie Rich, the blue and clear splatter vinyl, and this is of his album I Hear Those Blues, Rich in Stereo. And man, this is a young Charlie Rich here. I don't ever remember him looking like that. So, and this has some kind of traditional stuff, and then I don't know, maybe they were new at the time, but things like CC Rider, and let's see, Midnight Blues. There's another place I can't go. Who will the next fool be? Anyway, he started out more as a kind of a country blues guy, I guess, and then turned a little more towards the pop country. If you know the song Behind Closed Doors, when she gets behind closed doors and she lets her hair hang down. Yeah, everybody sort of, well, if you're of a certain age, you know that's. Yeah, you like my country singing? Okay, and I would be remiss if I did not mention R.E.M. Reveal, probably one of my favorite later R.E.M. records. And I know some people don't like it as much, but I think it's a great summer record. But I probably have I don't know, maybe that's nostalgia. But this has the great single Imitation of Life, which did pretty well. It should have done amazing. It had a very interesting, strange video with this sort of looping effect. I kind of consider this their. Yeah, so some people say, "Oh, Up is their Beach Boys album," and I suppose if it's Pet Sounds, probably, and this is more like I don't know, coming out the other side, maybe like Surf's Up or whatever, you know. But it has some darker songs too, like She Just Wants to Be. But I love things like Summer Turns to High. I'll Take the Rain. I'll Take the Rain is a song that I don't know why it wasn't a massive hit. It was like, should have been like one of those automatic for the people moments. But anyway, so there's been some problems getting REM in these reissues. I don't know what's going on at Universal, I believe is who's in charge of this. They announce these things and then there aren't enough of them to go around. So I've seen Accelerate out there with some people, but we have yet to get that, even though I ordered it weeks before it came out. And then these actually came from a distributor other than my regular one, because they weren't going to have this one either. So we've been shorted on those. I'm assuming that they're making more. I can't imagine a band as big as REM is not going to have plenty of copies of these. But I feel like they made such a big deal out of getting How the West Was Won out there, or whatever, that's the song from the New Adventures in Hi-Fi, that they could have done a little bit more with getting this out there too, but whatever. Oh my gosh, this video is getting long. Here are CDs for the week, and some of them actually, this one is like from a week or two ago. We just got it. Peter Frampton at Royal Albert Hall, and this does feature Show Me the Way and Baby I Love Your Way. Other CDs, new album from Blind Boys of Alabama called Echoes of the South. Features Send It On Down, Work Until My Days Are Done, Friendship, and You Can't Hurry God, Jesus, You've Been Good to Me. A jazz new album, Darcy James Argues Secret Society, and this is supposedly kind of eclectic, features Cecile McLaurin Salvant on it, and they said in the description it also features the Chenique Orchestra, which is apparently the one of the largest jazz orchestras in Europe, featuring like people of color. New Jake Shimabukuro, this is called Grateful, and this is a double CD, and it's sort of ironic that this comes out after the Maui fire, because it's a lot of sort of like positive kind of Hawaiian related songs and things. Joan Osborne, her new record, Nobody Owns You. You remember her from the What If God Was One of Us era. Had a huge hit with that. She's still making records. Rain Parade. There's a band that I haven't heard from a long time, and they sort of are back on the scene with an album called Last Rays of the Dying Sun. So if you like sort of jangle rock or whatever, I guess, or sort of 80s stuff, or their 90s maybe, I can't remember. I never bought a Rain Parade album, but I knew of them. I will admit that. Jonathan Wilson, his new album, Eat the Worm. Jonathan's a great singer-songwriter. He plays with a lot of other artists now, and I think he works a bit with Father John Misty. Got a song on here called Bonamassa. I don't know if it's something about Joe. There's a song called Charlie Parker. Speaking of Parker, new Graham Parker, another person who's still out there making records. Graham Parker and the Gold Tops, Last Chance to Learn the Twist. And this cover is sort of similar to one of his other album covers. So, anyway. New Super Furry Animals on CD. I said it was on CD too. Look at how many tracks there are. I think I counted there's like 33 extra tracks on this version. So if you want more SFA, get it there. Porcupine Tree Deadwing, reissue of their CD, a standalone reissue. Reverend Horton Heat. This is live in Houston. This is another Cleopatra release. This is a deluxe CD and DVD from 2009, I believe, is when this was recorded. Yeah. Recorded September 2009 at Warehouse Live, Houston, Texas. Yeah. Features Psychobilly Freakout and death metal guys. And then, just so you can see the Doors, I showed the box set. There is a standalone 2 CD version of that. So if you don't want to plunk down over $100 over the vinyl, this is about $30. And finally, on CD, I got 3 reissues this week from Tom Waits: Rain Dogs, Frank's Wild Years, and Swordfish Trombones. Back on CD, all remastered, newly remastered 40th anniversary editions by Tom Waits and Kathleen Brennan. Audio source from the original production master tapes and restored album packaging. These are coming out on vinyl soon, and really looking forward to these two in particular, Rain Dogs and Frank's Wild Years, because they're very hard to find and have been out of print for a while. And the next two, Bone Machine and Black Rider, come soon after. And finally, my recommend of the week, and I'll try to make this brief because I'm already running over time, but I sort of was like, oh, I can't believe I haven't recommended this yet. This is such a great album. Janelle Monáe, Arcandroid. I'm going to do a more modern record this week. So this was Janelle's long-playing debut. She had an EP before this. She's a famous actress now. She was in Hidden Figures, got a lot of attention with that. Oscar nominated for Moonlight, I believe. Was in the recent mystery movie Glass Onion. Very talented. Has a new album out, which is good. I'm not feeling it quite as much because it's a little more on the sort of sexualized tip, even though, I'm a huge Prince fan, so don't get me wrong. I just, sometimes when it's like right in your face, it's a little... If you have the album, you know what I mean. Anyway, this was fantastic. So many friends of mine got turned on to her with this album. She has kind of a throwback jazzy kind of quality to her voice, sort of like a Ella Fitzgerald without all the scatting, and I don't know if it's quite as deep as that, but sort of a Kansas City girl, or Atlanta girl by way of Kansas City by way of Atlanta. And anyway, this is sort of like it looks kind of like, oh, is this kind of spacey and weird? It's actually a fairly kind of jazzy record. It flows a lot from song to song. They sort of run into each other during the first half of the album. And they kind of have a little bit of a groove. Some of them are more like funky, approaching like James Brown territory, like Tightrope. Others like O Maker are more ballady, but it's kind of plays sort of like scenes through a film. She was thinking visually, really, from the very beginning. And then the second half of the album, things get a little more quirky. The song with Of Montreal is a bit more of Montreal-ish, psychedelic. But the last two or three songs are just stunning. Say You'll Go is just fantastic. And this one called Babap Baya, the very last song, Babap Baya, is like Minnie Riperton's sized epic. And as far as like that kind of early soul jazz that brought in a lot of orchestra, and it's very dramatic, and her singing is fantastic. And she had two very, very good albums after this. The next one, Electric Lady, is about as good as this one, in my opinion. And then the follow up, Dirty Computer, is pretty good. There's some really good songs. And then there's a couple kind of more like moments for me. But I definitely recommend this. This is a great listen all the way through. It might not hit you the first time all the way through. It might require a couple of plays. It probably did for me when it came out. But that last song, her talent is undeniable. It's pretty impeccable what she did with that. And I wish she would do more of that. But it's not necessarily the most commercial sound, so I can understand why not. But yeah, my recommended of the week, Janelle Monáe, Arcandroid, Suites 2 and 3, because Suite 1 was the EP that came out before, and it's good, but it's not as good as this, nearly, in my estimation. So, all right. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. I'm sorry this was late and it was long. I'm going to put it out now early in the morning here. It's Friday. It is September 8th. And maybe some of you will get to look at it when you're bored at work. Or you have the day off and you just want to sort of take it in. And I'll get back to you with another one next week. And I should be back on time by then. So, all right. Peace. Thank you so much for joining me. And thanks for your support. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Lock your doors to your cars. You know what I mean.